So thanks for the wonderful presentation. It's true I had some challenge to arrive in Geneva, but luckily I made it. So really happy to be with you today. So let's see if I'm able to click it. Doesn't seem so. You see technology. Yes.
Please don't use laser pointer. No, no, not good. Okay, this one.
This one. Thank you. You see, it's true. This is about strategy, not about technology. So I would like to start introducing you a friend of mine. I mean, this robot lady, she's called Nora, and I met her in Brussels. There is an hub, it's called Living the Future, and usually they showcase new technology. And I found her story extremely highlighting for our attitude through technology. So Nora, she was done in collaboration with the University of Ghent, and they programmed her to be a sommelier. Why? Because in Living Tomorrow Hub, there is also a one-star Michelin restaurant. And so they thought, okay, let's have a robot acting as a sommelier. It seems to be a good idea, but people reacted really badly. So she was absolutely able to do her job. So if you think about pairing up two libraries with wine recommendation and food recommendation, probably also an AI can do so, but well, people didn't like it. So they were forced to try to understand how Nora could be reprogrammed to do something different. And they started analyzing our behavior, our attitude through robots like Nora. She's really small, and usually people react, when you go to fair and so on, when they see this small robot, as they were children. So they are considered like entertainment or toys or something we just interact in a funny way. So they noticed it, and they thought, why we don't, and Nora, she can dance also. She can dance really well. Then they thought, okay, why we don't use Nora to help kids and senior people that are hospitalized and they need to do certain movements that normally they don't want to do. Let's try to build on the framework of having fun and dance. And now what Nora she's doing, she's helping kids and senior people hospitalized to move, and she's dancing with them. And so this is a really, let's say, smart usage of a robot, even if she needed to find a different occupation compared to what was she created for. And this, I think, let us think about how we do consider artificial intelligence. And I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, I was growing up with movies, you know, like Matrix, and even now I'm passionate about sci-fi. And luckily, in all the movies, artificial intelligence is pictured like evil. You know, it's like a super intelligence that for some reason we created at a certain point decides to destroy us or dominate us. And I always wonder, okay, if this super intelligence is so intelligent, why should want to take care of us in first place? Because maybe she can have something really better to do. But this is like one of the signs, and this is also a trend about technology, that we do have, we fear what we don't understand. And as a trend is called fear of invisible threat syndrome. This happens towards artificial intelligence, but also towards all technology we may think about. So this is one of our reactions, and the opposite is even more fun. And I like to quote this sentence from John McCarthy, who was a researcher from MIT, who coined the term artificial intelligence. And what he was saying, as soon as it works, no one will call it AI anymore. Just think about your washing machine. So you don't think that there is a lot of technology in the washing machine. You are not scared, I hope, by your washing machine, because it's simply there. You are using, it's useful. So what is happening already and what will happen soon, we are already using artificial intelligence every time you use Waze, Netflix, and so on, but this is invisible. So the trend, the opposite of the fear, is the invisible technology. We deal with it, we are taking the benefit without realizing it. And there is also an interesting question about artificial intelligence, is why now? And this is an appropriate question because if we do analyze, and I got a degree on AI back to 2005, when it was extremely exotic discipline. So, it was something unusual to study. And it was so exotic because people, they didn't believe in it. For some reason, because we already had the theoretical framework, all the theories were there, what we didn't have were the data, the processing power, and some of the data modeling we do have now. Now we do have a way to model and analyze the data that permit us to analyze structured and unstructured data. To take it simple, unstructured can be an image or something that is not let's say, in something in a sequence like before. And we do have a big quantity of data. And this is extremely important because this permits us to do, and this is like a picture that is often used as an example. So you see this, sometimes also for humans being, is difficult to understand which one is the muffin and which one is the dog. And so this is an experiment used for test deep learning system. And in the latest 5 years, from an error rate of image recognition of 28%, now the error rate is 7%. It means that probably the machine is better than some of us in recognizing the muffin. And this is even better in speech recognition, and I think you can try yourself if you do have a conversational agent at home or even using your phone. What is really relevant to understand, and this is the reason why I was mentioning data as a key element of why now, is that machines are not intelligent by themselves. They become intelligent because we feed them with data. And we are the one creating the data. Just think that 90% of the data available today are coming from, let's say, mainly social media, Google search, what you buy online. And we shouldn't consider only human creating the data, but machines create the data. So if you think about the Internet of Things and all the objects, by 2020, the estimation is 30 billion of devices will be connected to the Internet, and in 6 years' time, there is a typo here, 80 billion. So this is a big number, and obviously you should think about data, how interacting one with the other. So human creating data, and also object creating data, and let's say, the beautiful start when you can match one of the other. So if you're a company, just think that you do have what we do call first-party data, your customer, what they do with you, with your services, and so on, and you can match with what we call third-party data, that are all the other activities that people may do online. Obviously in an anonymous way, but also doing it in an anonymous way can provide you useful information. There are also a lot of myths about AI. Sometimes, as I told you, there is the extreme fear, then we use it without being aware, and sometimes we do believe that artificial intelligence can be neutral, can be absolutely perfect in what they do. Well, this is maybe not true, because if I feed a machine with biased data, I will have biased result. And researchers of MIT, they've done this experiment. So they wanted to create a psycho-artificial intelligence, and they call it Norman, in honor of Alfred Hitchcock. So they started feeding the machine with, what we will consider an anomalous way of seeing the reality. And obviously, when tested, you see the regular person saw like a person holding an umbrella in the air. Okay, I don't see it, but... and Norman saw man is shot dead in front of his screaming wife. So it's a bit extreme. But so this is a demonstration that the quality of data is important. So we shouldn't believe 100% of what is given us, but we should understand also the root case and be sure that we're using the right data. There is also a lot of, in the latest years, we are having a lot of newspapers that are claiming, okay, AI is becoming better than us, or, okay, AI will steal all our jobs, and so on. I believe that all of these are, again, a bit of extreme. So if we analyze where we are today, computers are better in doing some activities that are like calculus, memorization, gaming. Also, this is the schema for AlphaGo that became pretty famous a couple of years ago. And actually, yes, it's true that they programmed 2 neural networks that were able to win against a human player. But the problem is that still this is a game, and there are a certain pattern of rules that you need to follow. Where we are almost equal, and you are probably experimenting it every day, is in the basic chat. So whenever you interact with a chatbot or a voice bot, for basic conversation is still okay. And also works for facial recognition. So every time you are at the airport, there is a machine that is reading your picture and is taking a picture of you. This is an example of a deep learning algorithm that is recognizing your face. This works really well when there is no noise. So the same example that a person, a friend of you, that maybe you don't see in 20 years, that is running at the airport, probably a machine will have some difficulty on recognizing the person. Where we are better, and you have a chef here in the picture, we are better in activities like cooking, being an hairdresser, and so on. All activities that include creativity and include as well true empathy. So understanding emotions of other people. And this is probably what makes us more human, being creative and being empathetic to others. And we can recall also what Simon Sinek told this morning. It's also interesting to understand how technologies are changing our way to approach technology. So if you see, we are moving from search, 1995, social, and now we are truly conversational. And what does it mean? That the activities we are doing are really different, because before we were clicking something or sharing something through technology, now we talk to technology. And this is called conversational UI, because it's more easy for us simply to talk with an object. There is also something, if you do have a brand, and probably many of you have a brand, you should also, in a way, start understanding how people will think about your brand voice in the future. So in the future, you may want to be integrated in one of these conversational agents, and so you may want that the person buying your services or your product is going to recognize your voice. And so there are a lot of questions about how to position yourself, not anymore as an image or as a point of view, but also as a voice. And will become extremely important also to treat your conversational agent in a nice way. So some programmers are programming the agent that they are replying better if you ask please or thank you, because it's also a way to educate yourself, to be educated also with machine. And back to what we were discussing before, all this fear about AI. So there are, in the latest couple of years, all the studies recognize that AI will create more jobs, not less. The real issue is different. The real issue will be the skill gap that we do have. So this is a study from McKinsey. They analyzed what is going to happen between 2016 and 2030. They analyzed 2,000 different activities in 800 different occupations, and actually their output is that only 5% of the job can be fully automated and will be fully automated. What will happen is that around 60% of 30% of the job, so the 60 of the 30, can be automated. So it means that still there are a lot of jobs that are likely we will need to do ourselves. And I'm giving you some example of these, let's say, automation, and I will call collaboration between machine and human. So if you see, this is a project where you see the motorbike. It's something we have done with Yamaha. For instance, you have augmented reality Internet of Things and analysis of data through machine learning, and actually you can self-repair a motorbike. So the system is guiding you. And just think this applied to even extremely unsecure situations. So you can send drones that are collecting image and data and are helping also human to understand what's wrong. You can have all the world of predictive that actually is not only the predictive activity, so you just imagine you can, is not only knowing what will happen in advance, but you can also give indication, you can be prescriptive about what you need to fix. And this is also, if we look about, we had some analysis about treating your workers. If you think some of what is happening right now is that people, they like to work from remote, they like to work in different locations. Technology make it possible because through the data, first I can understand what people truly like because I can personalize not only the job offers, but I can personalize the perks, what the person really like to do, but I can also activate what is called crowdsourcing. So I can call a person when it's really needed. Maybe someone would like to work only 3 hours per day. I can do so because I do have tools and systems that permit me, based on skills and resource, to allocate the right person at the right time. And all this is possible through technology, not AI only, but all technologies working together to help us to even work better. And it's important, I mean, this is a scene from La Traviata. Actually, this Sunday I went to La Scala to have the experience of La Traviata. And I was thinking about which kind of genius that was Verdi to just put together this beautiful music. And this is the point. I mean, the role of human, this is the new role of human, but the role of humans is to create, not to produce. And I truly believe that thanks to technology, not artificial intelligence only, we can create much more and not being, you know, in a way constrained by standard activities that maybe don't, are not really good enough for helping us to becoming even more creative. So you should think about automation as something that helps us to be more creative. There is another step we need to do. And we have seen at the beginning with Nora, but this is going even farther because often, you know, machine can analyze a big amount of data much better than us. So the next step of AI is to be, in a way, a kind of advisor to suggest us what could be the next best action in a certain situation. Not because it's better than us, it's different. So it's the concept of having multiplicity, it's concept of having diversity. So we think in a way, and machine think in a different way. So the next challenge we do have is start accepting the kind of advice that AI can give us and partially outsourcing our decision making. This opens up something that we briefly touched before. So the real challenge, the real issue, is in creating the right skills. So the challenge is not in automating the job, it's being sure that we are able first to manage all the new technology we do have, to coordinate the multiplicity, so to coordinate the human intelligence and the artificial and machine intelligence in a way that can benefit all of us. So, you know, those skills that the World Economic Forum is raising are important, like creativity, critical thinking, but you should add also the management ability to just understand when a machine should do something and instead when a person should do something. So I would like to close my speech with you know, a kind of call to action for you. I think what we have to learn is to dance with the robots, not to run away like they've done with Nora. Thank you.
Thank you, Luisella. We have a little bit of time remaining. I mean, you have an incredible background. Like you're a professor right now, so you have a foot in academia. You used to work for Skype, for Netlog, the first social network in 2008 that most people weren't even born. to use it. Before that, I include myself because I had an account there. So that's why I say that. I had an account on 6degrees.com.
I haven't, so maybe you are older.
Yes, I'm very likely older. Yes. So I had a CompuServe email address with all the numbers. Anyway, yeah, I'm older, definitely. Now I realize it. Now you made me sad. No, I'm kidding. So basically, you have this. You have a foot in the private sector. You have a foot in academia. You also work a lot with the public sector. It's a hot topic of the day. What to do about this potential disappearance of jobs? So what would be your advice to policymakers when it comes to dealing with this competition, that seemingly competitive forces of automation and human work?
Well, I believe the only reply to this is education, being open, and invest a lot in university. And sometimes when you look about university program, you don't find yet topic like artificial intelligence, like all the skills that you need to face the future. So this is.
But that's a key point. What you're saying is that we need to invest on both aspects, both on humans and on the technology, because the key takeaway is that these are not competing forces. These are complementary forces.
Yeah, there is a nice TED talk from Ken Goldberg, he's a professor at UC Berkeley, that actually has this speech about multiplicity against singularity. And I think I advise all of you watching it, because that's the point. I think we don't need to consider this as something against each other. It's simply understanding how we can benefit from something that we created, because we created machines, because I believe that they are solving some of the issue we do have. So they are not enemies, they should be friends.
Yeah, and this is the theory. I mean, this is what technology has done to us. It's been augmenting us for centuries and centuries. Thank you very much. Luisella Giani, thank you very much.